what's up, hello, my name's Alexis and welcome to this week's video. I'm so excited to start filming this video because I am starting the reread of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I first read this book while I was in college in 2022, and I did read A Court of Mist and Fury, but I never really continued with the series. So with ACOTAR 6 coming out in October, I figured this is the perfect time to reread this book and continue reading the entire series. I'm not going to be doing a reread of Thorn to Glass just because I've read it twice already, and I really do have a firm grasp, a firm grip on that story. But to make this weekend reading a little more fun, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a challenge that I saw over on TikTok, which is reading one page per every follower I've gained in the past 30 days across all my social media platforms, which actually comes out to 140 pages that I need to read this weekend, which I know may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but if you know me, I am a bit of a slow reader. I get very distracted very easily. So 140 pages is manageable, is doable, and it helps me stay on track. It helps me have a clear goal that I can work towards, which I think I really need to set myself up more. I'm so excited to get back into this world. I have been thinking about rereading this for so long, and then whenever ACOTAR 6 was finally announced, and 7, I was like, perfect. I can finally do my reread and finish the series. But before we get into the actual reading, I want to really try and annotate this book. So I got my little annotation station set up on my bed. So let's go figure out what I'm going to be using. Okay, so I have all my supplies here. I did recently just get these tabs off Amazon because I did want just the basic rainbow. And then I have a bunch of these different ones. Oh my god, when did I get all these? They come in like a plastic little thing and it's kind of fancier than just having it out and about with like these. We're going to be using red and yellow for ACOTAR. I don't have a black, but this is really close to black. I also need to find out the different things that I want to annotate. I think I'm only going to use these just because they're very different from these and I don't feel like combining them. Oh my god, I completely forgot about my highlighters. Well, they're just going to match what I have for here. We'll make this one red, yellow, pink, and green. And I always have a ruler with me just because. I have my micron pen in the size 1 and a big mechanical pencil because sometimes I get scared writing a pen. I finally finished posting, so let's actually get to reading. I have my first little talking point that I want to share with you guys. Since this is a reread for me, I am going to be talking about spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, make sure to read the book and then come back to this video. So we're on chapter 2, page 15, at the notorious part where Feyre mentions that she painted her drawer with the night sky with whorls of yellow stars standing in for white. And then before that it says, the crackling flames I'd painted around Nesta's drawer. And what's Nesta's book called in color? A Court of Silver Flames, and is the color orange. And then before that, the violets and roses I'd painted around the knobs of Elaine's drawer. Violet. So I'm going along with a lot of other people's speculation of the sixth book being Elaine's story. I'm thinking purple a little bit selfishly because I love purple is my favorite color. I have a couple more pages of chapter 2 and then I'm going to switch gears and go play City Skylines for a bit. So let's finish this up and then I'll come back with my thoughts. Okay, I have finished 2 chapters. I have read 20 pages out of my 140 pages. Thoughts? The first chapter, of course, we are following Feyre as she's trying to hunt for food for her family, which includes her 2 sisters and her father. And then in chapter 2, we get to see her lovely family, including Nesta. So like I mentioned in the beginning, I never finished this series. I stopped really after A Court of Mist and Fury. I hate Nesta. And I don't think anything can change that. I know a lot of people love Nesta's book, A Court of Silver Frames. It's made them change their mind about Nesta. I don't see it. But also Feyre is being a little too much in the whole Nesta wanting to go get married and whatever. Like, let that girl leave. But I need a break from reading already because I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. Sorry that the lighting is bad. I have you propped next to the window and it's actually about to start storming. But I just want to give you a quick update. Also, I forgot I have these on. I did read a couple pages while I was in bed. I was going to read an entire chapter, but then I needed to annotate some stuff and I didn't feel like getting up at that moment, so didn't do it. Didn't finish the chapter. I've gotten to page 28. It is Sunday, so I really need to start locking in and finish up those 140 pages today, which I for sure can do. Yesterday I was just spending a lot of time on City Skylines 2 because I'm freaking addicted to it. But right now I actually have to go with my mom to go pick up a dog. My mom has a bunch of chickens and turkeys and stuff, and she keeps getting her chickens taken and she thinks it's because she doesn't have a dog, so she needs a dog. So I will lock in when I get back. Actually, I'll take it. I don't know if I'm driving or not. I probably am, but tell you what, the day has done come and went. It's almost 4 o'clock. I have not done any more reading because I drove like 2 hours to pick up a dog, but he is so sweet. My payment for driving those 4 hours is Wendy's. But they forgot my honey mustard. My phone was at 4%, so it is forcing me to have to read while I eat because usually I'm watching a YouTube video. I usually have my phone to hold the page down on my book, so I'm using the salt shaker. Hi, I look like a wet dog, but what else is new? I am on chapter 7. I'm in a break between chapter 7, so on page 66. And I just wanted to take a second to talk about it a little bit. So we've gotten past the part where Feyre goes to the market and sells the pelts to a mercenary, and the mercenary tells her of some fairies and some scary things, and then she goes home, and then a fairy breaks in through their home, a wild beast as they call him, breaks into the home and basically takes Feyre away, as we know, to the fairyland of Prythian. And where I left off, we just finished going through Feyre actually eating with Tamlin and Lucian. I gotta say, as rereading this, I'm like, I am super into it. I thought like I would be kind of bored because I already knew what was gonna happen, but I forgot all these little details and things like that. And I'm really quite enjoying myself. How far is page 140? What chapter is that? Also, I still hate Nesta. It's gonna take a while for me to get over that. Not even just Nesta, her whole family. It's just insane how poorly they treat her, and I don't quite understand why, and I don't think that was ever answered for myself when I first read it. Anyways, page 140, I see the word cereal, is chapter 16. It's a page after chapter 16. So I have this much still to read before the end of the day, which is actually before 8:35 because the final episode of Love Island, the finale, is coming out tonight at 8:35, so I gotta finish before then. I really should have read a lot more yesterday, but here we are. I don't quite feel like moving the camera or myself, but I really wanted to talk about this real quick. So this note at the bottom was from when I first read it. He literally said it on the last page, and she said, so he did remember my name at least. And then over here, I underlined, I'm not going to kill you, Feyre. What did I think I was on? I thought I was an editor-in-chief or some shit like that. Anyways, we have learned about the blight and the masks and why everyone is wearing them in the manor. And then we learned a bit about the blight and that it's slowly moving down into the mortal lands. But for right now, Magic seems to have stabilized even though it's been weakened. And I'm probably really reaching, but I put a note that says kind of like in Throne of Glass, question mark. If you could see that. I'd be reaching. But you never know. You never know with this jam. We are going to ignore how horrendous this lighting actually is for just a moment. Just needed to give you guys an update of how far I am in A Court of Thorns and Roses. I have somewhat switched over to the audiobook version just because it's so much easier for me to consume that way. Actually, you know what? I think I can make this light better. I said I could make the lighting better, and I kind of did, but my camera also died, so I had to switch to my phone. I am leaning against some storage bins. Might be a little bit shaky. Anyways, as I was saying, I did switch over to the audiobook a bit because originally my plan was to listen to the audiobook while physically reading, just so I could retain everything more. I could still annotate and stuff. But then I got in the car this morning to go to work, and I always have an audiobook, and I could not bring myself to start a different book. Like, I feel like I just have to read ACOTAR. Like, the story has engrossed me entirely already. So with that, I am at about 53% of the way through the book. I did leave off at 33% yesterday, Sunday, when I read my 140 pages, and we have gone through some things. The last update I gave you guys was that Farah captured the serial and like met up with him, talked to him, and we did get like our first little snippet of Farah and Tamlin being a little bit cutesy wootsy. Okay, I actually like notated it. He also said that you like being brushed, and if I'm a clever girl, I might train you with treats. And then Tamlin just busted out laughing, and Lucian was like, I might die for how unserious the situation is, or something like that. So that was cute. But then right after that, we followed it up with Lucian's backstory of like his father and his brothers killing the girl he thinks is his mate, how he became Tamlin's emissary and whatnot. So that's where I left off yesterday after the 140 pages. And then now we have gone through the ceremony, that nighttime ceremony where we meet someone tall, dark, and handsome. Okay, we meet someone tall, dark, and handsome. And then after that, of course, Tamlin does his little freaky alpha thing and like sniffs out Farah and finds her and like tempting her like being a temptress but for a guy, and like gives her a hickey on her neck or a bruise or whatever the fuck. So we get that, and then now they're just being flirty, hee hee ha ha. Farah can see like the fairies now because Tamlin took the glamour off of her. So that's where I am. I'm like readying myself for what's coming next. Like I said, I haven't read this book in a couple years, and I only read it one time, so I'm kind of really excited to get to the next part. And I was like, oh my god, I did not think that I was going to enjoy myself as much as I am, so that's exciting. Anyways, that was my little update. My back is starting to hurt. I'm going to continue playing City Skylines while listening to the audiobook. Ooh, handsome boy.
Rolling his neck as if we hadn't been talking about anything important at all. His eyes locked on mine, wide and wild, and his nostrils flared. Tamlin and I left the way I'd come in.
Hello. I am coming to you on Wednesday, the day I'm supposed to upload this video yet again. I'm a bit under the weather. Feel like a truck hit me. But I did finish A Court of Thorns and Roses, and so we need to talk about it. I did not get far with reading physically. I got about a little bit before halfway, I think around 40%. And so I did also stop annotating. But what am I going to try to do again? Annotate A Court of Mist and Fury. And I ordered new annotation tabs. Why? I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about the book and my thoughts at the end. You know what? Lately I've been seeing a lot of hate for ACOTAR. I thought it was fun. It kept me so interested. Obviously I wanted to keep reading it really fast. I was just having fun with it, honestly. I wonder what I even rated it. Okay, May 5th, 2022, I rated it 3 stars. Did I write a review? No. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it to a 4-star now. You know what? I think the only reason I gave it a 3-star before is because I physically read it, and then now with my love of audiobooks, I could appreciate it a lot more and not take as long to read it and feel like it's a drag. But let's talk a little bit about the third act. Ashley, June Renee Marsh. You better freaking finish this book before you watch the ending to this video. Thank you. Everyone in the comments bully Ashley June Renee Marsh into finishing this book. She has been reading this book for so long. Ugh. My camera just pissed me off. Anyway, back to Under the Mountain. Let me know in the comments if you found out what the riddle was. Obviously Reread, I knew what it was, but the first time I read it, I distinctly remember being at my apartment pool, like in college, and reading the riddle for the first time and looking over to my friend and being like, do you know what it is? Like, I don't know what it is. And now looking back at it, I feel dumb. The answer, of course, was love. But Farrah going through all these tasks that Amarantha set for her, going against the worm. I think I took a clip, but the part where the second task was to find out the riddle on these levers and pull it, and then Farrah having to have help with Rhysand's tattoo on the eye mark on her hand, and like she going to lever 1 and going to pull it and it hurts, and then she goes to lever 2 and it hurts, and then she goes to 3 and it doesn't hurt. So obviously the answer is 3, but then she goes back and does the first one again. I felt like she was like a science rat, like a scientific research rat. Oh my god, that shit killed me. Also, all the Rhysand helping her and the Rhysand talking to her and helping her get through this time. Great, wonderful, I loved it. And then with the third challenge, having to kill the innocent fairies, and the third one being Tamlin, and she comes to the realization that Tamlin has a stone of heart. Her coming, like, having to think about all the things she thought of, like all the things that people have been telling her, that basically Tamlin has a stone of heart, and so she stabbed him. You know, through all those challenges, it really shows how resilient and dedicated Farrah is, and how she can adapt to things, not to reading, because that bitch is illiterate, but everything else. But anyways, I had a fun time rereading ACOTAR, reading it with you guys. Final thoughts, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I can't wait to continue the series. I don't have next week's video planned, but I'm sure it'll just be me rereading A Court of Mr. Fury, so make sure to follow along for that, because I'm sure I'll do it for the rest of the series as well. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. Let me know down in the comments how excited you are for ACOTAR 6 and 7 to come out. And also, subscribe if you're new. I'm gonna go freaking down some NyQuil now.